Thank you, Mr. President. If I could begin in this period of morning business. I'm really here to talk about the importance of passing the reauthorization of the Small Business Innovation Research Program. And I think it's important because our future economic prosperity depends on whether this country can continue to be a leader in science and innovation. We can't compete with India and China for those low-wage manufacturing jobs. That's really not the future of America. Our future is to be the global leader in science and technology. America makes the best, most innovative products and services, and that ingenuity and excellence is our chief economic strength as a nation. Now, as a former small business owner, I know that it's business and not government that creates jobs, but I also know that government has a critical role to play in fostering a positive business climate. I believe there are a few things we need to do to unleash the innovative spirit that's so alive and well throughout this country, and particularly in my home state of New Hampshire. But to maintain the creative dominance that's allowed us to lead the world in innovation, we do need to enact a long-term reauthorization of the Small Business Innovation Research Program, or the SBIR program. SBIR is not just a typical grant program. Under the SBIR program, a small business is able to compete for research that federal agencies need to accomplish their missions, agencies like the Department of Defense. Small businesses employ about 1/3 of America's scientists and engineers and produce more patents than large businesses and universities. And yet, small business receives only about 4% of federal research and development dollars. SBIR ensures that small business gets a tiny fraction of existing federal research dollars. Now, in the last few months, as we've been talking about the SBIR program in the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, on which I serve, I've had the chance to visit a number of New Hampshire companies that are doing cutting-edge research and are growing their businesses because of the SBIR program. This research has allowed them to develop new products and customers and to hire new workers. And I want to talk specifically about one of those companies because they have such a great story. It's a company called Airex, and it's in Somersworth, New Hampshire. Their story shows just how the SBIR program encourages innovation, and creates jobs. When I visited Airex, I got a chance to see some of the impressive technologies that the company has developed. Airex specializes in electromagnetic motors and components, or as they explained to me, their motors don't go around and round, they go back and forth. Its employees design and produce everything from motors used to make Apple's iPad to gyroscopic coils that are used to stabilize the artillery system on Abrams tanks. So a wide divergence of products. In the past decade, Airex has more than doubled its revenues and its workforce, largely because of the products that it developed with the support of the SBIR program. Jim Sedgwick, who is the president of Airex, told me that SBIR was critically important for the development of the products that enabled the company to add several good-paying jobs in New Hampshire. Now, for example, Airex was able to compete for and win a grant to do research for the Air Force on materials needed for strategic missile defense. In order to conduct the research, Airex had to develop a new electromagnetic motor. Since the motor that Airex developed had tremendous commercial potential, Airex secured a patent. Now that motor is used in the production process for the Apple iPad. And as you can imagine, sales for that motor have increased dramatically in recent years as the iPad has become so popular. The same is true for several other products that Airex developed with the help of SBIR. Airex products continue to be in high demand, not just here in America, but across the world. Exports now account for 30% of Airex's revenues, so they're a great story on the export front, too. Airex told me that its biggest export products are the ones that were developed with the support of the SBIR program. If we're going to outcompete and out-innovate the rest of the world, we need to encourage the kind of innovation that has made ERIC so successful. And SBIR was integral to making ERIC's success a reality. That's why SBIR must continue to be an important part of our strategy for staying competitive in the 21st century. And ERIC's is just one of many New Hampshire small businesses that have successfully competed for SBIR funding in the 28 years that the program has been in existence. All across New Hampshire, small businesses that otherwise wouldn't be able to compete for federal R&D funding have won competitive grants to advance technology and science and create good jobs. In just the last 2 years, New Hampshire firms have won 80 SBIR awards. In fact, despite its small size, although it's a little bigger than Delaware, as the President knows, New Hampshire is ranked 22nd in the nation for total grants awarded through the Department of Defense since SBIR began. So, Mr. President, I know you know this, that we need to focus on smart ways to create jobs and stay competitive. We all know that small firms are where the jobs are created in the U.S., and we know that the future of the American economy rests with innovation. The SBIR program must be one important part of our overall strategy to encourage the innovation that will keep the American economy strong through the 21st century. So, I'm pleased to be here to support this program, and I encourage all of our colleagues to join me in supporting this important program. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I note the absence of a quorum.